Hello, hello, beautiful souls. How's everybody doing tonight? Tonight, I am coming to you to chat a little bit about the fear of the unknown. And am I going crazy? I hear this a lot, especially from most of you, well, not most of you, many of you that are in the Understanding for Divine Messages group. Some of us think we're going crazy at times when we're in this midst of a spiritual awakening. Sometimes we're like afraid of what's happening, right? So a lot of times we've been raised under a belief system that says when we see spirit on the other side, that it's a bad thing. Sometimes we've been raised in an environment that says it's an evil thing if we see loved ones on the other side. So when we have this belief structure around us, and then all of a sudden it starts happening to us where we're able to see a loved one on the other side, or maybe we don't see them, but we sense them, or we feel them, or we hear them. What does that do to our thinking? Like the first thing we think is, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be able to do that. Oh my gosh, I can't tell anybody about it because they'll think I'm crazy. Or maybe you even think that you might be crazy because you've heard all your life that that's not something that you should be able to sense or see or feel or know, right? So a lot of times we sense or a lot of times we feel like, oh my gosh, well, maybe I'm going crazy because that's not the norm, or I shouldn't be able to do that, or it's only in movies, right? So a lot of times we have that looming over our shoulder, looming over our heads, like, oh my gosh. Now, what happens physically when we start experiencing loved ones, or maybe we don't even know who it is, a spirit that says, ooh, she can see me. Ooh, she can sense that I'm around, so I'm going to hang out with her, right? What happens to us physically when that starts to happen? Yay, you caught me live. Hello. I'm Stacie Overman, by the way. I am the creator of this amazing Facebook group that has so many beautiful souls in it. I am an angelic psychic medium. I am a spiritual guide and a co-creator in positive change. I also had a near-death experience, and I am a breast cancer survivor, and a lot of things started to shift and take place in my life during those experiences. And I started seeing angels on the other side of the veil. I started seeing loved ones on the other side of the veil. I started sensing their presence. Hello, hello. I'm so glad to see all of you here. And I'll tell you, for me, I was losing some sleep. And I'll tell you why. Because for some reason, my guard would go down in the beginning of my awakening at night when I got ready to go to sleep. And my guard would go down because I was in the midst of falling asleep. I was relaxed. I was starting to drift off. And the next thing I would know, I would feel someone actually sit on my bed. And I'm not talking a human being. I'm talking a spirit being, a spiritual being. They would sit on my bed. I would actually feel the mattress move. I would see the comforter go down. I've had moments where I would actually feel like pressure, like somebody took their hands, if it was a person, and like kind of pressed down on the comforter, like on the backs of my legs if I was laying on my stomach. And I would be a bit freaked out in the beginning, right? Wouldn't you? So those kinds of things started happening to me, and I would jump and look, and I would be afraid to go to sleep, and it would bring back all of those memories that I had as a kid where I was afraid of what was under the bed. And I would have this little thing when I was a kid where I would come into my bedroom and there was this space between me and the bed that I couldn't have my legs near under the bed, and so I would have to jump to get on the bed so that I could avoid whatever I thought was under the bed. I have no idea what was under the bed. Maybe there was something under the bed. I don't know. I don't remember that part, but I remember it was a fear when I was a kid. So all of a sudden, all of those fears start creeping back in, and I would have a hard time going to sleep. And this was before I understood I was in the midst of a spiritual remembering, a spiritual awakening. Hello, soul sister. And so you may be losing sleep. There may be some of you that have had a traumatic experience happen and you start to have nightmares, and maybe you actually feel or sense a being around you at night. So maybe you're not sleeping at all. Maybe you're avoiding sleeping. I was just talking to a lady this morning, actually, and she had a really rough thing that happened in her life and lost a loved one, and she has nightmares. And so her spouse will actually ask her and say, hey, I'm headed to bed. Are you coming in? And she'll say, no, maybe tomorrow. So she doesn't sleep at all because she's avoiding what she might feel or what she might sense. And so then what happens physically, right? We get super tired. We start to become in that fight or flight mode. Then we start to create dis-ease in our body. And then our body starts screaming at us because we're not paying attention. We're not dealing with what's happening, right? And so physically, we're not able to function as well. And we're causing ourselves to have more health issues because we're not addressing the pink elephant in the room or the spiritual being that's in the room, right? They're like knocking, hello, I know you see me. And it happens. Now, if you would ask me 20 years ago if that happens, I'd be like, I don't really know. I'm told it doesn't, but I don't really know. But again, I have to go back to when I was going into 7th grade and I saw spirit. I saw my sibling come to me that had passed away. But I put that in a little box because it was like, oh my gosh, I can't tell anybody this. I can't talk about this. So I put it in a little box and I kind of slid that under and I didn't really talk about it. And I kind of forgot about it because I had a belief structure, a limiting belief that this was okay, this was not okay. And I was moseying on through life with that belief and that understanding of what was normal. But then when I battled breast cancer, the door started opening up. Or I should say, the veil started thinning. And I started to remember things that I had forgotten. And then when my husband at the time, we were both battling cancer at the same time, when he passed away, that last week he was alive, loved ones started lining up all the way around our bed. I was awake, it was the middle of the day, and he was sleeping. This was before he went into a coma. And I was typing away on my computer, and I saw loved ones on the other side. There was 4 of them. I had a feeling that I knew who they were, but there was more of them that I didn't know who they were, and some I knew were angels. And I'm telling you, I thought I was going crazy because it wasn't something I believed in. It wasn't how I was raised. It wasn't what my Bible studies talked about. It wasn't what we talked about at church. And so I knew that I wasn't going crazy. I had no reason to lie. I had no reason to fabricate. I had no reason whatsoever to be making something like that up. We had enough drama. I didn't need to make anything else up. And so physically, what starts to happen is we're not functioning well. We're hiding. We're not talking to people. We're not telling our truth. We're not expressing what's really happening in our life. We're hiding it. We're holding back. We're not being our real self. We start to have more health issues. We're not sleeping well if we're not, and maybe not even sleeping at all. And so I just want right here, right now, if you're experiencing anything like that, anything that remotely is like that, and that might be why you're in the group, I'm telling you right now, you are not crazy. You are not crazy. I know I felt that way in the beginning, and it took me many years to be like, no, I am not crazy. This is really happening. I do have dead loved ones on the other side of the veil that like to sit on my bed, that like to communicate, that like to make themselves known. And sometimes clients that book a session with me, their loved ones will come to me and they'll show up 2 or 3 days in advance and they'll be like, hey, I got a message from my loved one and I'm here. And I'll be like, I appreciate that, but I need you to wait 3 more days and then I want you to come back. And I have a conversation with them. And I know some of you might think that's crazy, but I have a conversation with them because they're a being and they're just simply on the other side of the veil. If we could just like take the curtain and pull it back and peek through, they're right there. They have not left us. They're right there. So my tip for y'all's today for dealing with that, removing fear of the unknown, right? Because we don't really know this territory. We're kind of new to it. We're really not new to it, but our human mind is new to it and our human existence is new to it. And we're having to remember all of this stuff. My tip for you today is 1, you're not crazy. And 2, set spiritual boundaries. I have a great video that I have made in this group, I think about a year or 2 ago, maybe 2 years ago. I will put the link after this video is over. I'll put the link in the description of this video. And if you're experiencing this kind of stuff, I encourage you to click on that link and watch about spiritual boundaries. Spiritual boundaries is something that I teach in my program. And it's very important, especially if this is happening to you, because you can't function in a very good place as a human if you don't have these boundaries. It is the same kind of thing that we experience as humans. We have to have boundaries. Our children have to have boundaries. We have to set boundaries so that we can find, it's funny, I want to say this word balance. And I was just talking and teaching with one of my clients today about the word balance. And balance is so interesting. Like, how do we find balance? I'm not even sure that there really is balance. Really, when I was tapping in today, when we were talking about balance, my spirit team was showing me it's more like a ball. And we have to learn how to roll with it. That's more of balance. It's rolling with it and learning. And it rolls this way and it rolls this way and it rolls this way. Like we're always constantly changing. We're ebbing and we're flowing. So we've got to find that ebb and flow. But we've got to have these boundaries so that we as a human being in this incarnation can be healthy. Because if we're constantly dealing with our spiritual side and checking out and being up in our upper chakras and being more with the divine than we are being grounded in our lower chakras on this earth plane that we wanted to do, that we came here to do, to be in this play, then we're not accomplishing what we came here to do. So if you're experiencing those things and you want to learn more and you're ready and you're like, I am so sick of not understanding and I am so tired of having this fear around the unknown, and you want to get the same kind of results that my clients are getting, where they're getting to a point where there is not that fear, where they're getting to a point where they're embracing who they are, learning who they are and knowing, oh my gosh, I can connect with the divine and I can be human and I can keep moving forward, understanding who I am and helping other beautiful souls in this world to do what I came here to do. Then reach out to me, as my dogs are over there having a tiff. Reach out to me and private message me. I am setting up discovery calls, which is a complimentary call to see if I can really help you through the program, to see if you're really, really ready to change your life in a transformational way. That is who I'm looking for. I'm looking for that person that is seeing and experiencing or feeling or sensing spirit around them. And maybe you are afraid of that unknown. And maybe you are losing sleep. Maybe you are getting some health issues. Maybe you are that person that's like, oh my gosh, I can't go another day with knowing what I know, and I can't share it with anyone because I think I'm going crazy, or they think I'm going crazy. Let me know. I want to help you. Puppies are barking. I got 3 of them. All right, everyone. Love to you. Mwah. Angel blessings. And I will post that link on spiritual boundaries in just a minute. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.